Hi there, Sean Cummings here. I'm the owner of Home Service Profits, and this is a little webinar I like to call 0 to 60 in 30 days. Now, the reality is that if you're in this business to make money, you gotta book calls. You have to get people to call you up. Obviously, that's part of your marketing budget. But the reality is that you need, once the call comes in, to get that call booked. You got to get your people out to that house to be able to get you making money today. And you know, over the past better part of the last decade, I've been training the team at what I would say is arguably the most successful home services contractor in Canada. This is an organization that was getting double digit in the millions of dollars growth, and the reason for that is because they made a commitment to implementing processes, systems, and procedures, and training the team. Okay, and one of the key elements of training is to make sure that your people are booking the call properly. And part of my job as the trainer and team builder there was to find out what the competition was doing. And I did this for almost a decade. I called the competition on a regular basis. And here's what I can tell you. The vast majority, 95% of plumbing companies, heating and air conditioning companies, electrical companies, and roofing companies are not following a process to get calls booked. See, the company that I was at, we were booking literally because we marked it. We actually went so far as to chart and monitor the call conversion ratios every single day. Okay, we had the software to do that. Call conversion ratio meant literally the number of calls booked. Okay, number of calls that came in minus the number of calls booked divided by the numbers called booked. That gave you a call conversion ratio. And the people that we had working with us, 90%, 92%, 93%, because they were following the systems, the processes, and the procedures. So I want to share some of those tips and secrets with you to give you an indication of the kinds of things that you could be doing to help your business grow. And because the fact of the matter is, you're not going to grow your business if you can't book the calls. You know how many calls you're booking every single day? Think about that. Are you sure? Because I would venture to say you might be booking 2 or 3 out of 10, but definitely not 8 or 9 out of 10. Well, this webinar is going to help you get the process started so you can book 8, 9%, 90% of the calls that are coming in. Think about that for a second. If you're not booking the number of calls that you need, you're not making enough money. If you're not making enough money, you can't grow your business. So this is 0 to 60 in 30 days, okay? So we'll work through it. If you want to increase the number of book calls, you need a value building script for your call takers, featuring terms like a Home Depot on wheels. That's a value building. We want your customers on the phone to visualize that the truck coming to your house has got the parts that they need to solve the problem. Terms like fully trained technician, that's really important. Save you not only time, but money. Things like that, on time, every time. Guess what? People value their time. Everybody values their time. So everybody's got a story. Probably even you may have a story of having called a service provider to your home and they said that they were going to be there, and of course they weren't. Okay? So you have to structure your business in such a way that you're going to get your people there on time every time, and that's something you convey to the homeowner to get them to want to do business with you. It's as simple as that. 100% guaranteed service. What does that mean? You need to have a 100% guarantee, and you need to be able to teach your call takers to explain what that means to the average homeowner, because it's all about building value up front, okay, and building a relationship. You need a friendly greeting when the phone rings, all right? I have a little bit of a typo there, but it's a great day at ABC Plumbing. How can I make you smile today? Think about that. It's a great day at ABC Plumbing. How can I make you smile today? It's a great day at ABC Electric. How can I take care of your problem today? Something that's going to be positive right from the get-go, because the people that are calling you, they're not having a good day, okay? Nobody ever plans for a plumbing problem or electrical problem or heating and air conditioning or roofing problem. They happen at the worst possible time. Okay, so it's nice to know that the company you're calling, you've got somebody who's friendly and competent on the other end of the line. So once you've got that, it's a great day at ABC Plumbing. How can I make you smile today? Shut up. Let the client talk and be empathetic. When they say, oh, I've got no hot water, you have to have call takers that go, oh, no, that's a terrible situation. And sound legitimate, because people want to feel that somebody that they're dealing with feels their pain. Okay? You have to resist the urge as well to answer their immediate question, because one of the immediate questions you're going to get is, can you give me a ballpark price on this? How much is it charge for you guys to come out? Okay? Is it possible to get somebody to come out this afternoon? You need to put that answer away for a bit, because we have to follow some steps before we answer the question. And the reason for that is simple. If you answer the question too quickly, okay, what's going to happen is they're going to say, okay, great, thanks, talk to you later, and they're going to call another company. But if they have time invested in talking to you on the phone and building a relationship with your call taker, there's an increased likelihood that they're going to book. So you have to resist the urge to answer the immediate question. Plus, the other reason you got to do it is you want to gather their information up front. You need their name, their phone number, all that kind of good stuff, okay? We need to buy time, so don't answer the immediate question. State, I'll be happy to answer that question, but first, may I have your name, please? Okay, just like that, simple. And then ask for the address, and your address, please. And ask for the phone number, and your phone number, please. And ask for the email address. Some people will give it to you, some people won't. But ask it anyway, right? Because once you've got their email address, well, guess what? Now you can start marketing to them. Marketing whatever kinds of specials you got. Maybe you've got a tune-up special on a furnace, or maybe you've got a really great deal on a water heater or something, and you can convey that information to people via email. So we have to buy time. Buying time allows us to build that relationship, and to get people to book calls, it's got to be a relationship building process. Simple as that. I have no heat, or I have no cool. Oh no, let me get on that right away. May I have your address so I can check availability? That's what you need to say. Just like that. See the, oh no, that's the empathy part. Let me get on that right away. Now it sounds like the person that they're talking to really wants to take care of the problem. May I have your address so I can check availability? That's no heat, no cool. Guess what? No hot water? It's the same thing. I've got no hot water. Oh no, let me get on that right away. May I have your address so I can check availability? Okay? I have no power. Oh no, let me get on that right away. You see where we're going with this. It's a structured process, and it has to happen every single call. Every time, always. That's the trick. You can't half-ass it. You have to follow a structured process to get the calls booked. The good news, this is not hard to do. You can write all of these things down on a sheet of paper and train your call taker to say these things. Okay? Because probably you're not doing this stuff right now. And if you're not doing this stuff right now, you're not booking as many calls as you could. Would it be fair to say that if you started to do some of this stuff right now and did it consistently, you'd book more calls? This is where everybody goes like this. Yes, absolutely. You're going to book more calls. All right? I need a roofing inspection. You know, I had some shingles that blew off. Oh no, let me get on that right away. May I have your address so I can check availability? Availability of what? Of a technician. Because we want the homeowner to think that we might not be able to get someone to them. So that when we actually find the time to have someone come to their home, they're going to be so grateful that you actually found someone that can come to their house. All right? Now we have to find out what the problem is. We've got that information. So, it's a great day at ABC Plumbing. How can I make you smile today? I've got no hot water. Oh no, that's a terrible situation. I hate it when that happens. May I have your address so I can check availability? Right? And you get that information. And then once you've got the address and your phone number and your email address. Okay, so you said you had no hot water? May I have a little bit of more detail about the problem you're having? They'll tell you. They'll tell you what the problem is. And this is really good to ask that question because it gives the homeowner a sense that your call taker cares. And if your call taker cares, you care. Your company cares. All right? You have to show empathy. Oh, no, that sounds like a terrible situation. So now we have to clarify what it is they said, because believe it or not, what they are saying and what your call taker might be perceiving can be two different things. We have to be on the same page. Oh, that sounds like a terrible situation. So just to make sure I understand you correctly, the problem you described to me is you've got no hot water, or the problem you described to me is that your furnace was making a whistling sound and then you lost heat. Is that correct? Yes. How long has this been going on? Okay, that shows empathy as well. And now it's time to ask some questions, because questions help you make money. By the way, do you happen to know how old your water heater is, your furnace is, your air conditioner is, your panel is? You see, age is important. Old stuff equals replacement. Old stuff gets priority service every single time. There is no value to you in your company to be going out to a 2-year-old water heater that you did not install to do a repair when there's a 12-year-old that just called up and they've got, a puddle underneath their water heater. You see where we're going with this? That's what we call dispatching for dollars. So we have to get that information out there. We have to find out. And if it's in a replacement zone, we have to get a technician to that house today to solve the problem. We want to ask them, may I ask how you found our number today? That's an important question to ask, because that way you can track how well your marketing is doing. You see how this is all part of a system? Yeah. And most companies, 95%, they're not doing it. They're not doing it with any consistency. All right? Questions are important for dispatching for dollars. You can't miss them. You have to ask the questions. You have to find out how old the equipment is. It's absolutely imperative that you find out how old the equipment is, because you are losing money if you're going to new equipment that you didn't install, for example, when you've got old equipment that would require replacement. It's true, replacement dollars are higher weighted than repair dollars. You make more money off replacement. All right? So now we have to do a little value billing or a price presentation. Now we've got all the information we've got. Now we have to tell them what's going to happen. Well, let me share with you what to expect during our visit. Because your time is valuable, I'll be sending out a fully trained technician in a fully stocked truck. I like to call it Home Depot on wheels. When he gets to your house, he's going to do a complete evaluation to find the source of the problem. Then he's going to sit down and share some options. And he's going to give you an upfront price right down the penny so you know the total before any work is done. Now that sounds like a mouthful. And that's why it's important that you write it all down and you teach your call takers to say it every single time, but slowly. Because if you're going too fast, the homeowner's not going to hear it. It's going to go in one ear and out the other. All right? Next part of it is we book 2-hour windows so we can save you time. The diagnostic and safety inspection fee for our express window is $129 or $99 for club members. Now, we're calling it a 2-hour window, but we're also calling it an express window. Doesn't that sound better than just saying we book in 2-hour windows? It's an express window. We can get to your house in 2 hours. How awesome is that? But you got to charge money for it. Okay? Very simply, if you're not charging money to come out to somebody's house, how are you possibly going to make any money on that call? All right? I'll just go back one here, actually, previous. Let's talk about diagnostic fees or evaluation fees or whatever you want to call it. Some companies do them, some companies don't. Some companies call them a trip charge. Some companies run time and material. I don't care what your pricing structure is. That's a separate webinar. Okay. The fact is that it costs you money to send a guy to that house, and you need to recover that. Quite simply, you have to recover it, and that's why you let the homeowner know that, yep, you called the professionals and you got to pay to have us come to your home. Yeah, absolutely. And you are going to get objections on it, and that's why I'm here, is to teach your people how to deal with that objection. Because you'll get objections like, well, why do I have to why do I have to pay an evaluation fee? I already know what the problem is. You'll hear that one. Absolutely. Well, there's a way around that. And that's part of the training that Home Service Profits can provide. So now we tell them, I've got a 2-hour express appointment at 8 o'clock. Would that work for you? And of course, if it's over 10 years of age, book ASAP. We're coming today. 10 years seems to be the window where things sort of conk out. It comes in the replacement zone, definitely for water heaters. In a lot of cases, for furnaces, 12 to 15 years. Certainly, if it's a furnace that's 10 years of age and is not working, there's still a good chance for replacement or major repairs, right? Because guess what? You guys know as well as I do, how often do people do regularly scheduled maintenance on their furnaces and air conditioning systems? Exactly. They don't do it at all, and that's why stuff breaks down. All right? Now, here's where you're going to get this guy. Why do I have to pay an evaluation fee, right? Why do I have to pay to have somebody come to my house? Well, there's a way around that. Vaporize it. Well, don't you agree that it's a small price to pay for a fully trained technician who's going to arrive in a fully stocked truck loaded with thousands of parts, not to mention a 2-hour express window, so you don't have to wait around all day. And when you think about it, you can't even get a pizza delivered to your house for free, and I'm sending you a specialist who's going to solve your problem. So, does 8 a.m. sound good? See that little pizza bit in there? Yeah, see, that actually is very effective. People will complain about the plumber or the electrician or the heating and air conditioning guy coming to the house and having to pay a diagnostic fee, but they'll never complain about having to pay for a pizza delivery fee. Remind them of that, and they'll go, oh, you're right. Funny how that works. And the last part of it, so does 8 a.m. sound good? That's called an assumptive close. We have to assume that by virtue of the fact that they have not hung up on you yet, that they want to have their problem solved. So we're going to nudge them towards booking the call by simply saying, does 8 a.m. sound good? That is actually what we call asking for the business. And the 95% of those companies out there never ask for the business, ever. You know, in Saskatoon where I live, population 250,000, I called the same companies over and over, and some of you are listening, over and over again every single week to phantom call them to see if they were doing anything different. And in the over 8 years that I worked at my company, none of them did anything different. They were always doing things the same way, never asking for the business. Well, the law of averages is pretty simple. If you don't ask for the business, nobody's gonna come to your house, or very few will. But if you ask for the business, a certain percentage will and a certain percentage won't. And that percentage that will is going to be higher than the percentage that will come to your house if you don't ask for the business. You have to ask for the business. You're in business to make money. You have to assume they want to have their problem solved. All right? Then we got to do payment verification. Our technician will collect once the work is complete. How would you like to take care of this? We accept cash, check, MasterCard, Visa. Okay, people, please tell me that you don't bill them, okay? Because that's nuts. You need to get paid at the end of the call because that money has got to go in the bank. That's how it works. If you are billing people, you're nuts. Stop it. Stop it right now, because you probably have got a lot of people who owe you money that you've been chasing after and you've had to send them to collections. That's a terrible way to do business. Look, you let people know up front that we take payment upon completion. And if they don't like that, then they can go and book somewhere else. That's pretty much how it works. What I know is that over 90%, we're totally cool with that. It's true. Pretty basic, okay? Get that out front. Don't bill people, right? So verify how they're taking care of that information, because that information you want to make your technician aware of too, so they have the right paperwork, or if you're using, you know, one of those devices that can connect onto a smartphone that you can run a credit card or a debit card through, whichever. You need to let them know ahead of time. That makes the process a lot easier for your technicians. And then finally, you got to confirm what's coming on the call. Now, let me make sure I have all your information correct. Your name is Joe Smith, and you're located at 123 Sesame Street, and your phone number is 555-555-5555, and our technician is going to arrive tomorrow morning at between 8 o'clock and 8:30 in the morning. We're going to give you a call prior to sending him out. Is everything correct? Is there anything else I can help you with? You see, by doing this approach, you've got all the bases covered. You can't miss anything. You can't screw anything up. Has anybody ever gone to the wrong house? Probably one of your technicians, if they've gone to the wrong house, is because the information gathering process wasn't confirmed. So if you confirm it, this allows you to make sure that you don't get caught with your pants down at a client, at a person's house who's not your client. Think about that. You knock on the door, and then somebody opens the door, and, hi, I'm here to fix your plumbing. I didn't call the plumber. Is this 123 Sesame Street? No, this is 128 Sesame Street. You want to go up there. Well, that's bad advertising. That tells the public that you don't even know how to get your people out to a house properly. Okay, so you got to confirm all that information. And finally, you have to give them appreciation. Pat them on the back. Stroke their ego. You know, great, I've got you all set. We're going to take care of this problem for you. I'm going to send one of my best technicians. You know what, Joe, it was a pleasure speaking with you. Thanks for choosing ABC Plumbing. Thanks for choosing ABC Roofing, or whichever your company's called. That matters to people, because we started the call off with, it's a great day at ABC Plumbing. How can I make you smile today? And we're ending it off with a nice positive note. That is fundamentally different than what you're probably doing right now. And if you're looking at this going, holy crap, this sounds like a lot of work, it's not. You have to have the process taught to you. You have to have the scripts provided to you, and you have to teach your people. You can hire a person like me to come and teach your people. We can do stuff via webinars like this, or I can come to your shop and teach them. My goal is to help you succeed, and I'll train one of your people to do the training as well. That's what I'm in business to do. Now, I've got some questions for you. You need to grab a pen, write these questions down. Do you know how many calls for service you get each day? Because if you don't, you should. Because that way you can track the ups and downs of your year. And you can plan for strategies to get you business. You will know from the number of calls you're getting for service each day, what your competition's up to. Because chances are, if you're doing what I'm teaching you to do, you have to try to look at it this way. Every time the phone rings, you have to train everybody in your company to ask themselves one very important question. And that question is this: what happened to the last company they called? You see, the fact of the matter is, whether people have the yellow pages out or they're using their smartphone, you can assume that if they're a brand new customer, they called somebody before they called you because they didn't book with them. Simple as that. So if you think about that and put it in that perspective, it puts impetus on getting this down properly so that you have systems in place, because you don't want to become the next company that they hang up on. That's really what it boils down to. You need to ask yourself, do you know how many calls you book every day, every week, every month? Do you have a dedicated call taker, or are you one of those people that's working, because I've heard it. I've called up companies when I phantom call them, and I'm talking to a truck and ladder guy, and I hear the wind whistling through the cell phone because the guy's driving down the highway at 100 kilometers an hour, right? You need to have a dedicated call taker who is a professional who's tasked with getting the calls booked. Because if the calls are booked, you're going to somebody's house today, you're making money. And that's really what it boils down to. And if you do have a dedicated call taker, are you measuring their performance by doing call conversion ratio? Because if their call conversion ratio, hits a peak and then it starts to slide, you need to train them up to get them back up to the peak. Do you book in time windows, or do you pull a number out of the air? I know a lot of companies do. They'll pull a number out of the air and they never show up on time. It's happened to everybody. It was one of the most common complaints that we heard at the company that I was working for, and that's why they were so grateful. People were actually grateful that we gave them booking windows and we guaranteed that we were going to get there. That's pretty powerful. And finally, do you coach your people to success? That's important. You need to coach them once you've got the processes and systems and procedures in place. All right? The secret of 0 to 60 is this. All right? Every call, every time. Consistency, 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 consistency. Get it? In short, have the structured process in place and do it every single call, every single time. Try to think, I use the analogy of McDonald's. Okay? You ever heard the old term, you want fries with that? McDonald's invented that, right? McDonald's invented that. What they learned is that if they asked every single car that went through the drive-thru window, this was before the days that they actually had invented combos, do you want fries with that? If they asked every single car, a certain percentage of cars would say yes, and a certain percentage would say no. But if they didn't ask every single car, guess how much their fries sold? Not as much as if they were asking, do you want fries with that? Well, it's the same process here. That's a rule of consistency, okay? Consistent performance equals consistent results. Inconsistent performance equals inconsistent results. So the secret of 0 to 60 is have the process in place and do it every single time. That's it. That's all. It's not hard to do, but you have to make the commitment to implementing the process. Okay? It's as simple or as hard as you choose to make it. And yes, it can be done in 30 days. If you commit to doing it in 30 days. If you train, it'll be done in 30 days. If you make this approach the only approach, no if and or buts about it, this is the direction you're going as a company, you will get your call conversion ratio going up 60% within 30 days. I guarantee it. If you monitor, if you listen in on those calls, okay, if you coach your people to success, and ultimately, if you insist on it, this is a requirement of our company. This is how we book calls. That's how it works. What I can tell you, folks, is that this system works. It's what the successful companies are doing. It's what the companies that are in big, giant contractor groups are doing. They're all the same. They have a structured approach to dealing with things. So for you to be successful, to get from 0 to 60 in 30 days, you need to have a structured process, right? Friendly greeting. Take friendly control. Gather information up front. Don't answer questions up front. Say, I'll be happy to answer that question, but first, may I ask may I have your phone number? I'd be happy to answer that question. May I ask what your address is? just put that over there because you'll get to that. The objective here is to take your time, gather that information, and, carry on. Book the call. It's as simple or as hard as you choose to make it. So that's 0 to 60 in 30 days. I can help you do that. It's not a rocket science, quite frankly, but you have to make the commitment to do that. And so few companies actually go forward and implement any kind of process or procedures in place to book calls. It's shocking to me that actually happens still in this day and age. I'm amazed by that fact. All right, but the reality is that success is something that you can achieve if you choose to make it a priority for yourself and for your business. And if you want to be successful, what you actually need is a structured process. And that's what Home Service Profits can do. Okay? I'm an expert in these systems because I've been training people to do it for years. I've trained $1 million salespeople. These systems are not hard to do, and my job is to help you succeed. So check out my website, homeserviceprofits.ca. You're already on there if you already got the link. See what kinds of things I can offer. Give me a call, 1-866-829-0338. And you can also email me, okay, homeserviceprofits@gmail.com. I'll be happy to answer any questions. So thanks for watching the webinar. And if you have any questions, you know where to get a hold of me. Thanks a lot.